Hi YouTube, this is Kaiger1324 today with another recent pickups video. I wasn't going to do this video today, but I have two reasons why I did. First off, my Game Boy stuff that I ordered online turned up today, which surprised me. Some stuff turned up the other day, but the Game Boy itself turned up as well as some of the games. And also my dad gave me and my brother £50 each because he got his bonus from work, which was great for me so I could go and get some games. First off, let me just go over the eBay stuff. So the system's here, the system's here. It's a bit somewhat scratched underneath and a bit, there was like a sticker or something here, but I put it on charging fine. Turn it on. Yeah, it worked fine. I put in a game, made sure it worked fine. And it came with a case, which was nice. That wasn't shown in the eBay picture. I paid £28.50 for that, and it came with 11 games, not 10, because one of the games wasn't actually in the picture, which was really nice. It's always nice to get freebies, so it came with that. And like I said, it worked fine. It was £25 plus £3.50 shipping, which is an okay deal for me. Game Boy Advance SPs were about £40 for a working one, at least in good condition and up. So the games that I first ordered was, I ordered these 7 games here. These were £10 for all of these. So we got Power Rangers SPD. There was one Power Ranger game that I used to play a lot on the Game Boy. It was like a multi-cart one that had 2 Power Ranger games, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I think it was either Ninja Storm or something like that. So Power Ranger games on Game Boy aren't too bad. Some of them are okay. This was one of the better ones. Yu-Gi-Oh! Trying to get it to focus. Yu-Gi-Oh! What's it say? Worldwide Edition, Stairway to the Destined Duel. I know that one of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Games on Game Boy is pretty good. The worst one out of the deal was Bratz, Rock Angels. But believe it or not, games like Barbie and Bratz can get pretty expensive and quite uncommon on any system, just because they probably didn't sell very well, or they were targeted towards girls at a young age, and girls back in those days didn't really play video games, at least when I was in school and stuff like that. Power Rangers, Dino Thunder. I believe I already have this one, so it doesn't matter. I have 2, so if anyone wants to play that as well as me, don't matter. King Kong, the official game of the movie. I don't know how well this is on Game Boy, because the one on Xbox and PS2 is actually not too bad, but it's a first-person shooter. Check it out on the PS2 or Xbox 360 or something if you haven't played it. It's kind of a underrated game, not a hidden gem, but an underrated game. And then the 2 games that I was most interested in was Star Wars Trilogy, Apprentice of the Force, based on the 3 movies. I don't know how good that is. I have to give that one a try. And Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. I've heard this is actually really good on Game Boy. Well, not amazing, but like a beat 'em up game. So with that, those were separate. Those were £10 for those 7, which is an okay deal, free delivery. And then with that Game Boy was all these games. It came with some manuals. Spyro Season of Ice, which is always nice to have manuals. Scooby-Doo Mystery Mayhem and Cyber Chase, like a multi-cart. The Sims 2, which believe it or not, actually I'm really looking forward to playing, because I used to play Sims busting out on the Game Boy Advance, and I was so poor on that game I had to sleep in the streets and drink from the blooming hospital. And Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which I've heard isn't too bad on the Game Boy either. And the games that came with it, Spyro Fusion. I know there's a really good Spyro game on the Game Boy Advance. It's like a side-scrolling action one. I'm not sure if it's that one. Season of Ice. From looking in the manual, this is sort of like a isometric view one. I still want to get the Tony Hawk games on Game Boy Advance. They're fantastic. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, like a side-scrolling platformer. Scooby-Doo, I'm guessing this is based on the movie because it's got the Warner Brothers logo right there. WWF Road to WrestleMania. I think it was this one that I used to play. I used to play a WWF game on the Game Boy years ago, and I used to play it so much. Monsters Inc. The Scorpion King, Sword of Osiris. I believe this is an okay game. Is that Scooby-Doo Multicart, Scooby-Doo Cyber Chase and Mystery Mayhem. Shrek 2, I don't know how good this is on the Game Boy. I know the PS2 one is actually pretty good, actually. Catwoman, I don't think this is a very good game. This game wasn't actually shown in the... This was sort of like a thrown-in game, I guess. It wasn't shown in the picture, Army Men Advance, which I've seen gameplay for, and it looks quite fun, actually. And probably the two better ones out of them all, in my opinion. Dragon Ball Z, Taiketsu. I think there's one Dragon Ball Z game that's really good in the Game Boy Advance. It's like a beat-em-up style game. I'm not sure if it's that one. And The Sims 2, which... the Sims games on Game Boy, I think, were the first ones to do that, where you control your character and run around. And from looking at the manual, this one looks quite fun. Anyway, so those are all the things I brought on eBay. I'm still waiting for my disk drive to turn up from my brother's PC. Hopefully that turns up soon. Anyway, so I had 50 quid. Obviously I had to get some other, get like some bits to go in. I needed some money from my tobacco. I am trying to quit, but I still can't go without. I have to sort of take it slow, like my dad said, and he was nice and gave me some money for some fags as well. So I went into the Oxfam again that has VHS tapes, so I picked up some VHS tapes. Superman, a cartoon, comes with an hour's worth of cartoons. Cheech and Chong, Still Smoking, classic Cheech and Chong movies. These movies are great. Up Pink Smoke is probably the best one. And Bruce Lee, Fist of Fury. You gotta love Bruce Lee. Fantastic movies. And a couple of games. This one's still sealed. It's new, still sealed. Joint Operations, Typhoon Rising, from the makers of the Black Hawk Down Delta Force game. It looks like a strategy game, but I think it's like a first-person shooter. It was $1.99 for a sealed game, so I took it. And Cooking Mama 2. Cooking Mama games are somewhat cheap, but they're not... Keks are about £5 or £6 for these, and I don't really want to pay too much for a DS game. $1.99. I love the Cooking Mama games, actually, believe it or not. Then I went into my pawn shop, and I got... so everything there was £10. The pawn shop, and I got a few games in there. These two Game Boy games were $1.99 each. This was nice for $1.99. Super Dodgeball, an Atlas game. I'm hoping it's like the Sega and Super Nintendo game, because they look pretty fun. And I picked that one up on PS2 the other day, a dodgeball game. And Crazy Frog Racer. I liked it on the PS2. I don't know how good it is on the Game Boy. And then two PS2 games from that pawn shop. 99p, LA Rush, racing game, don't know a lot about it. Fisherman's Challenge, the Konami fishing game. I never had a fishing game, so I don't know how well fishing games are. And this was actually really good. This was $3.99, obscure. Kind of an uncommon game. It's like... It's a horror game, but you can play two-player with this, actually. I've seen gameplay for it, and it looks quite interesting. Sum 41, I used to listen to them all the time. Nice to pick that up for £4 or $3.99. Never seen this game in the wild, so I think it's on PS2 as well, but I don't know how hidden and uncommon that is. So I'll have a look on Amazon and eBay and see how much that game goes for. And only one game from Kex today. I said I was going to get it the other day, but I didn't, so I just decided, you know what, I'm going to get it, because I'll regret it if I don't. Suikoden 5. This was £22. Unfortunately, it didn't come with the manual. Now, the guy, when he took it out, he said he had to take the disc and clean it, because there were some scratches on it, and it looks a bit dirty there now. But he said if it don't work, bring it back, and we'll either clean it again or refund it. This game goes for about £25 and up. The Suikoden games, or Suikoden, or I don't know how you pronounce it. I just say suikoden. Games that I think these are like tactical RPGs or like turn-based RPGs. Kind of Konami game. I know the suikoden games are quite expensive. They're getting very expensive. It's the first time I've ever seen a suikoden game in Kex, and I had to pick it up because for £22 I was kind of in two minds. Do I pay that for that or not? But when I saw that it's about £25 on Amazon, I was like, you know what, I'm going to go for it. Box isn't, it's a little bit dirty, and the disc was not in great shape. Well, he said it was okay, but he said he's cleaned it up and everything. If it don't work, I can get my money back. But I don't know. Let me know what consoles the other suikoden games are on. I know 1 and 2, I believe, were on PS1, but they're expensive. I know some of the suikoden games are expensive. So that's pretty much all the things I brought today and online. So, you know, some really good stuff here. Obviously, nothing amazing, but these two games made it worth my while going into town. It was nice to pick up to get the Game Boy stuff coming today. I'll be playing that at some point soon. So yeah, I don't know what videos I'm gonna do next. I was playing Prototype, and I was near the end, and I raged because there's a mission near the end where you have to stop the helicopters. Excuse me. The helicopters from leaving the city, and I don't know what it is, but the lock-on system on Prototype is fucking terrible. It always locks onto the wrong thing. There's an enemy right in front of you, so it locks onto the helicopter above you. It just fucking pisses me off. I don't think I'll be playing that anymore. I might go back and try and finish it one day, but I don't know. I've got a lot to work with, and games in there under my bed, all these games. I started playing Aragon today, actually. Not a very good game, quite bad actually, but it's not terrible. Again, it's one of those games that if you had it on PS2 it could pass for an okay game, but when it's on Xbox 360 it's not great. So yeah, as you can see, I put all my VHS tapes that I got from my aunt. And I noticed that like I said about the Pokemon one, I think my aunt does have the first Pokemon movie, because I was looking online last night, and for the DVD it's about £20 for the Pokemon, the first movie, and VHS about £15 on eBay, but I think that was bidding. And that is just bloody ridiculous. I mean, I know it's a good movie and a classic, but I thought that would have been like a common movie, if anything. But I mean, 2000 was like cheap as fuck. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's just stupid how much some things are going for these days. So, there'll be another pickups video next Thursday, unless I win the lottery tonight. Not the English lottery, I do the Irish lottery. If I get 2 numbers, I get like £60, and if I do get 3 numbers, I get like 600 or something pounds. Which I'm really, we haven't won in a long time, so if I win there, I'll be definitely going and picking more stuff up. But like I said, I'll be doing some more pickups next Thursday. I might try and pick up some more Game Boy games. I might just buy all the Game Boy games that were in the pawn shop. They're like £1.99 each. Some of them were like £4.99, like the Batman game was £4.99, and there was a couple that were £2.99. I might just pick them all up just to have them. But yeah, if you want to know what my top 5 consoles are, number 5 would be the GameCube, 4 would be the Game Boy Advance, the normal or the SP, the third would be PS1, the second the Xbox 360, and my favourite console of all time over there next to Bray Wyatt, you can't really see it, but PS2. I love the PS2, fantastic library. And the Game Boy Advance has a great library. I know there's a lot of shovelware on it, but if you're talking about how many games on the Game Boy Advance, Get a Game Boy Advance SP. It's completely backwards compatible, so Game Boy Color and Game Boy games, and it's completely region free, so you can get Japanese and American games. Because, like I said, I had some American games that work fine. So I mean, completely backwards compatible. I think there's about 2,000 or so games per system. And because they're so small, they're easy to store. You can just put them in a bag or something, like a little clear bag or in a tub, and they sit nicely in there. But these are cheap. These are cheap on their own. But if you're paying for the box, you're going to pay a little bit more, like a pretty penny, as they say. I'm never going to get a full Game Boy Advance box set, and I'm not going to go for it because it's just ridiculous. And you want to know ridiculous? My local game shop, where I went in there, and they had a Pokemon game. I think it was Ruby, and they charged him £15 for that, which is an okay price, I guess. But you can buy all of them on eBay for like £30 or something, all the Game Boy Advance Pokemon games. But you got to be careful on eBay because some of them might be reproduction carts. It doesn't bother me as long as I can play the game. But if you're a serious collector, try to make sure it has that little Nintendo thing there and the that little seal of quality. Yeah, or else it's probably a repo cart. Unless they just print the sticker off. But anyway. But yeah, this is ridiculous, right? They had an N64 with 5 games. I know, I didn't see what the games were, but I saw 007 GoldenEye in there. And they were charging £95 for it, which is... That is fucking ridiculous. I've got my N64 from the pawn shop. Bear in mind, I did have to spend a little more because it didn't come with a... It had an RF cable, which don't work on that. I had to buy the AV cables, but they were cheap. And the controller it came with doesn't work. And I'm not sure if it had a RAM expansion pack. It didn't come with a memory card. But still, I mean, £25 is... I would never spend more than £30 for an old system. Like a Super Nintendo, Sega, stuff like that. Because I just don't see the point in paying so much money for it. So anyway, I'm going to end the video here because my aunt might try to call me soon because I meet her at the shops. So I'm going to end the video. Please like, subscribe if you haven't, and thanks for watching. If any of these games here are like hidden gems or any good in a Game Boy, just let me know. It's always nice to know if any of these games are worth anything. Not that I'm going to sell them or anything, but if they're any good. And like this one, obscure. Tell me if it is an obscure game. Like, hard to find. So nice stuff here. Nothing amazing, but I guess you could say Suikoden 5 is a good deal. So, thanks.